it's not magic. They're rules to how these abilities work. And one of the rules is once it's easy to transmute things together. Really hard to fix shit after you fuck it up. Go ask the Full Metal Alchemist and his brother. His brother, who the only reason he was able to save is because he trapped his soul into a suit of armor.
Yeah, I
And he
mean
lost his arm and a leg.
that's why I really like that series, and which is because its supernatural system has consequences. Unlike a lot of things that use supernatural, like magic, characters along to make things better. I guess I don't. Or its consequences only happen uh, to
when
make
the
the plot
author
move
allows it.
when the plot needs to move along. So
Yeah, I mean, I like stuff that has rules that actually make sense. Like I don't like people just pulling stuff out of thin air or for the sake of the story. I'm just gonna make stuff up. Like if you have rules, like it's one of the reasons why. I mean, even though I enjoy the last, not the last, Fallen Order, Jedi Fallen Order. Like I
Hmm.
don't like the fact that they weakened the lightsabers because I mean one of the rules of lightsabers is lightsabers instantly cauterize. Like if you're up against a Jedi or a Force user and they have a lightsaber, they're gonna slice and dice dudes. That's what lightsabers do. Then you play Jedi Fallen Order and like trash ass stormtroopers are taking multiple hits with a lightsaber. What type of bullshit is
Those
that?
guys should be, if anything, those guys should be turned into Swiss cheese
Now, to be fair, I mean,
or sliced.
in universe, there is armor that is highly resistant to lightsaber strikes, but it's expensive and very few people have it.
I was going to ask, do you know the budget of the stormtroopers? Because I don't
Yeah,
think
they're
their
not.
budget
Yeah,
covers that.
they're not gonna give that to stormtroopers. So, like, I know they did that in order to make the difficulty, to make the game more difficult, which is stupid. It's kind of like where like design concepts just don't really work. But that it is what it is. But we're live, so let's have everyone introduce themselves. Um, and I'll go into these. I'll announce the topics, and then we'll dive right in. Starting with the lady first.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, the BS Special Podcast. I am Joe Right, I'm going to star in Not Again! Activision Blizzard, really?
they're just gonna keep doing it. This is Kanoshi Abominito. Um, here to say that the gaming industry has lost its mind.
If it ever had a mind.
If I
uh,
only had a brain.
yeah,
If I
yeah.
only had a brain.
I don't think it ever had a mind because it's a business. Businesses don't exist to think about things; they just make money. Damn the consequences, apparently. This is Mr. Red Fox, owner proprietor of BS Busters. Let's dive into some of these topics. So before we get started, we have a full range of topics for tonight's cast. The first one is a lighter one. So in light of The Witcher season 2 being just thrown onto Netflix, I thought, what other video game based IPs could be turned into TV shows, and how would you do it? Now, full disclaimer, I'm aware that technically speaking, the Witcher TV show is based on the book series, not the video game. But for most casual people, they have no concept that The Witcher is actually based on a book series. They equate it with the CD Projekt Red games. Okay? Like Halo. Halo is actually based on a book series. But most people have no concept that it's based on a book series. They equate it with the game series. So
Wait, Halo was a book series before it was a game series?
yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah, it was a
Interesting.
it was a book series before it was a game series. Anyway, so with that being said, we're here to talk about game series that could totally be TV shows. So who wants to go first?
Well, for me, It'd probably be obvious with superheroes and all. The Wonderful 101.
I could see that. It'd have to be animated though.
I never said it should be live action or animated, so that would work.
Live action would look ridiculous, but if they animated it in the same style that the game is made with those deformed looking characters, slightly chibi looking characters, it could work.
That I could agree on.
You know, make it kind of like a maybe do a riff off of Captain Planet and the Planeteers. Because it would be really hard to follow 101 characters, but if you followed like 5,
Well, in the game, you your main crew are 7.
yeah, if you follow like a small, well, 5 is a nice. It's easy to follow 5 characters or 4. Once you go beyond 5, it's hard to juggle all those characters and have everyone, because then you have characters just standing around doing nothing until they join together to fight the big bad of the episode.
Isn't that kind of how the Power Rangers ended up in a sense?
Yeah, that's why I'm going with 4 or 5 and not 6 or 7. Because once you go beyond that,
That's
it's you're juggling too many personalities, and I mean,
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the trick part. They usually could juggle at least 5 or 6, 7 characters.
well, I mean, I think 5 is the limit, because think about it. When they added Tommy, the Green Ranger, the Red Ranger, who was supposed to be the leader of the team, got kind of backtracked for Tommy. And then always one Ranger would kind of get pushed in the back that was supposed to be an ensemble series. So, and you want every character to be represented who's there. So I think
Yeah, I
5 would
get you.
be
A magic number.
5 is the magic number for that. Like, really, 4 is the perfect, but 5 is where you can still kind of, make it work.
Pull it off.
Yeah.
And I said 5 to a 7th because, well, I basically kept up with the Power Ranger series, and they managed to do usually 6 characters, and at times they do 7.
I mean, normally these days, normally like they start out with 5 Rangers, and then they always add a 6th Ranger who's like super special, and then occasionally they'll add a 7th, but they can't keep all those plates spinning.
Yeah, but I saying at least they only usually go to 6, which is pretty much the pushing limit.
Yeah, yeah. Kenoshi, do you have a video game property you think they need to make that into a TV show? It could work.
I think Psychonauts. I mean, it looks like a 90s almost looks like a 90s Nickelodeon cartoon.
That is true. That is true.
Oh.
Agreeable.
I'd watch it. I mean, they already did that friggin' on Amazon. They did what was it called? Damn, I forgot the name of it. The one with the kids. The one with the kids who it's Halloween, and like their costumes actually become what they imagine them to be, and they fight monsters and shit.
Yeah, Costume Quest.
Yeah, Costume Quest. They already did a Costume Quest cartoon, so it wouldn't be that far for them to make a It wouldn't be that far for them to make a video game that's like more like, I mean, a cartoon for Psychonauts. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool, actually.
I think that one was yours, Red.
What, Psychonauts?
Yeah.
No, Psychonauts wasn't mine. That was Kenoshi's. He said Psychonauts.
I thought you stole yours.
No. I'm going for something different.
Yeah, I could see it going for like a. Well, I mean, in today's the way shows are, it could go either way. It could be either sort of like a Monster of the Week sort of thing. You're going into somebody else's head, and you try to figure out what help them solve their problems, or an overarching story, or maybe they can uh, bend the two together, where it's sort of like a monster of the week, but in the monster of the week, there's actually a growing storyline where
Yeah, there's like
people
a
end up developing, where there's character development and character growth.
yeah, there's a plot, B plot. Like the A plot is the monster of the week, and the B plot is there's something greater going on overarching all this. Because they did that in other cartoons that I actually enjoy, like Men in Black, the animated series. They did that quite a bit. Um,
Yeah,
where there's like, oh, okay, it's the monster of the week, but there's actually more going on here.
yeah. I mean, there's even shows there's a couple shows I remember. There are just certain prefaces. There are certain shows that were always on before a show I wanted to watch, and yeah, I end up getting uh, sucked into the characters or sucked into the. But yeah, like As Told by Ginger, or various various shows that were kind of like this monster of the week, but yet they would reference things that would
Other
happen
stories.
in yeah, they would reference things that happened in older episodes, or grow from things that were uh they had
Yeah.
character arcs and later episodes. So, things, even as the series progressed, even though it was sort of a, you know, run of the mill uh outline to a plot, you still had, you know, there was even still character growth, like things that would happen in one episode would influence character's
Another.
perspective, and maybe a later episode, or in the next episode. So
Kind of like Kids Next Door,
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
where you thought it was just kind of like monster of the week, but there was actually something going on in the background the entire time.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
In certain episodes, yeah.
yeah. I think they
So,
did a good job. I think they did an overall good job with that show. And
oh yeah. Huh. I wasn't a big fan of Candy, but it caught my in- it caught my interest enough to
It's,
watch a few episodes.
it's one of the several examples where a show just ended when it needed to end. Like,
yeah,
the
and they
problem
did
with a
the
lot of them.
movie that kind of like tied up loose ends and made stuff. It's okay, okay, you tied it up in a neat bow and then left it alone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So now I'm just wondering if if Psychonauts wasn't your thing, Red, what is?
Oh, I have a couple. We've done a topic similar to this before, and I said it was Metroid, but Metroid's been done to death. Um, First one I'm going to go with is not a Nintendo property. Final Fight. Final Fight would be a great TV show. You basically, and what gave me this
Got
idea? What?
the Mad Street Gang and the Mad Street Gang go, and the people are getting cleaned out for it.
No, no. What gave me this? What gave me the template for it was I recently watched the Yakuza movies, the really
Hmm.
craptastic Yakuza movies, or at
They
least
were that
I
bad.
was going into it thinking that they were going to be craptastic, but then I actually watched them and I realized that these are just really melodramatic soap operas, but instead of that bullshit that they had for soap operas for women that were just kind of like lame, the soap operas for men have people getting the shit kicked out of them. And that makes it more palatable. So I said to myself, I said, self, what if they did a final fight, a final fight like maybe 6 or 7 episodes, maybe 8, and it basically just kind of we ignore Final Fight Streetwise, just take that shit and throw it out of a window.
I was about to say, should I even ask what that was?
It was supposed to be the triumphant return of the Final Fight franchise, but it was a steaming pile of dog shit.
Yeah, even I could say that I got more memories of a canceled Street Fighter. I mean, a Street SNK versus Cap, Capcom 3 than than that game.
I would rather have SNK versus Capcom 3 than Streetwise. Streetwise is terrible, but that's neither here nor there. So basically, I thought, why don't you do a kind of like the hook would be that Cody gets out of jail, because we continue, like, the reason you don't see Cody in Final Fight 2 and 3 is because Cody uppercutted Belger out of a plate glass window from a penthouse apartment on a skyscraper and killed
Even
his
though the
ass.
guy deserved it.
Yeah. See, there's consequences in this world when you uppercut a motherfucker out of a plate glass window of a penthouse apartment of a skyscraper, and the consequence is Cody goes to jail. Like he goes to jail for like 10 years. Okay, but here's the headcanon that goes on to make this series work. Okay, before Cody goes to jail, right? Before he goes to jail, he and Jessica hook up. She gets pregnant. She doesn't tell him that she's pregnant. She has the kid. She gets pregnant. She has the kid. Cody doesn't know he has a kid. Mike Hager knows Cody has a kid. Guy knows Cody has a kid, but they're keeping it a secret because what Cody doesn't know is that Belger is the little brother of an even bigger crime guy who, like, basically is big in Europe. And he's put out hits on Cody, which is why even when Cody's in jail, he's got motherfuckers trying to kill him. So Cody, who's already kind of a dangerous dude, has been beating the shit out of people, like having to, like,
He's been doing fights all in the jail cell.
yeah, a decade of just getting into fights and trying not to get prison raped and
Among other things.
and shanking motherfuckers. Because Cody's already good with a knife, but now he's got to, like, he's prison shanks and shit. So finally, 10 years have passed. Cody met his parole, and like his big thing is that he just wants to go home, keep his nose clean, and just relax and have peace.
And let me guess, that piece didn't come to him, but the Mad Dog Gang did.
Well, I mean, the big thing is that Mad Gear doesn't exist anymore. Because Mike Hager, when he was mayor, basically made it his mission to make sure Mad Gear never really came back. And he was actually successful. However, Mike Hager got older, had a heart attack because he probably took steroids when he was a wrestler. And he's like, yeah, I can't be mayor
He
anymore.
retired from being a mayor.
Yeah, I can't be mayor anymore. He was mayor for like 2 terms, 2 4-year terms, and he's like, look, I gotta like, I had a heart attack. Guy, can you go pick up Cody? And Guy's like, I can't because something happened. And so Cody's on a bus that's taking him into town, and here's where the story really picks up, because Belger's brother, who's kind of pissed that Cody, like 10 years he's had hits going on Cody in jail, they couldn't kill him. He's like, well, fine then. When he's on the bus trying to get to Metro City, we're gonna blow up the fucking bus. Now I'm stealing this from 48 Hours 2, but it's a good opening for an action.
Oh God!
They're gonna blow up the bus while he's on it, but unfortunately, he survives.
They couldn't get him.
They can't kill Cody.
Listen.
They try to kill Cody. They blow up the bus he's on. And, Mike Hager's in having heart surgery because, bad heart, steroids when he was younger, when he was a wrestler, etc., etc. And Guy gets him from the hospital, gets Cody from the hospital, where he's like, yeah, well, I'm not, aside from a few stitches, I'm fine. But, what? They blow up the bus? And Guy's like, well, I hate to tell you this, but that guy you uppercutted through a plate glass window from a penthouse apartment on top of a skyscraper, yeah, he was the little brother of a big crime lord in Europe. And he's been trying to kill you for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Oh,
Europe with love.
Oh, and by the way, The reason we haven't really been, we've been keeping a secret for the last 10 years because we didn't want them going after the kid you had with Jessica. It's like, I didn't have a kid with Jessica. Yeah, you did have a kid with Jessica. So,
Yeah. Now Cody not only has to deal with trash from Europe, but he has to be sure that that trash doesn't find his family.
well, it gets worse because in the first episode, Mike Hager, Belger's big brother's like, you know what? I've waited 10 years and now I'm going to get all these fuckers in one fell swoop. So he basically, he has an assassin go to kill,
All three, Guy,
no,
Hager, and Cody.
he has one assassin go after Mike Hager. The assassin he sends to go after Mike Hager is a cybernetic assassin. Because don't forget, the Street Fighter universe and the Final Fight universe take place in the same universe, along with Captain Commando. So we can have cyborgs. We can totally have cyborgs. So basically, like, he sends a cybernetic assassin to kill Mike Hager, who ostensibly this is supposed to be the evening of his after he's had his heart surgery, where he had heart replacement surgery with this new cybernetic ticker, and it takes a year of convalescence. So, like, Mike Hager is going to be at his weakest and most vulnerable at this point. So, this cyborg is going to get his ass. It's going to kill Mike Hager. He's got the reformed. He's got his own men who are like a few Mad Gear people going after Guy, and for Cody, well,
They tried to get him in the jail.
they got a
couldn't do
little.
it.
They got a little special. They got a little special component for Cody, and I'll leave it at that. But basically, I envision these 6-7 episodes, maybe even 8, culminating with. Lots of fighting, lots of violent fighting. Some twists that you don't see coming, like this guy who is a cybernetically enhanced assassin going into Mike Hager's room thinking, I'm gonna kill this guy, he's at his weakest. Turns out Mike Hager had his heart surgery like a year earlier. He's just been waiting for someone to start some shit. He's fully back. As a matter of fact, he's never been in better shape. he proceeds to beat the ever-loving shit out of this guy with all of his wrestling moves. But he's in better shape than he was before. He's got a new heart. He's healthier than he's ever been. Mayor Mike Hager's back. Bring in other Final Fight characters like Dean, Lucia, Maki, Carlos. Maybe do some globetrotting.
That would be just delicious.
I would love that Final Fight series. And the cherry on top, make it animated. Make it animated.
I think we got all three of ours possible animated.
Yeah, don't do live action, because live action is good when you don't need a lot of special effects. But like for something that has exaggerated violence like Final Fight, you need
visual spectacle. You need spectacle particle effects.
Well, it's gonna look ridiculous. It's gonna look ridiculous if it's not animated. Like seeing Mike Hager pile drive a guy, German suplex people, pile drive a guy into a floor, and beat a dude with a lead pipe or a sledgehammer.
Likely a pipe.
You can't do that with practical. It looks ridiculous with practical special effects. You got to do it with fake stuff. But yeah, that's my
idea.
That's my first idea for Final Fight. My second idea is for something we haven't gotten in a long time. This is a Nintendo IP that we have not gotten in a long time. When I was a kid, we had the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, and it was ridiculous but fun.
And if anybody's wondering, it was based mostly off Super Mario Bros. 2.
Well, 1 and 2. It was based off of Super Mario Brothers 1 and Super Mario Brothers 2.
Okay.
And then that show went away, and then they did Super Mario Brothers, like the second series, which was based off of Super Mario Brothers 3. Then they did Super Mario Brothers, and they did Super Mario World and the Adventures in Dinosaur Land, which was basically based off of Super Mario World for the SNES. And then they stopped making Super Mario cartoons.
Yeah.
Around the time we got the N64 and Chris Martinet's annoying fucking voice for Mario. So, around that time we also got the Legend of Zelda cartoon series, which was trash, and the Craptastic Captain N in the Game Master series, which was poo-poo and trash.
I was going to say, between those two, I'd take Captain N over Legend of Zelda.
I mean, both of them are equally trash, but here's why I think Captain N is worse. Because The Legend of Zelda was bad, but they only fucked up The Legend of Zelda. Captain N and the Game Masters fucked up, they fucked
Several
up,
series.
they fucked up Mega Man, Simon Belmont, Kid Icarus. Like, when you fuck up multiple IPs, it's worse than just fucking up one.
Yeah, you're right. It's just that if anything, I was trying to not envision how bad it could get.
The only good thing about the Captain N and the Game Master is this. Their mother brain was awesome. That's the only thing. That's the only saving feature, but it's not good enough. Mother Brain is the only saving feature because the voice of Mother Brain is the same voice, is someone aping the same voice they had for Audrey 2 and Little Shop of Horrors, and that's just a great villain voice. Because it's terrifying, but also kind of funny at the same time. So here's my second choice. I don't know why I kind of went off on that tangent. I would like to see a Super Smash Brothers animated series.
Animation?
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is from when you remember that some of those trailers for certain characters, they were, oh god, they were sweet.
And we already have a template for this. I mean, go play Smash Brothers Brawl. All those intros and action sequences they had when you chose which way to go, which characters to choose, and like characters meeting each other and starting to fight. You already have a template for this. Just like have it set in this universe where all these things exist, because we already have a template for that, and just call it Smash Bros. TV or Adventures in Smashland. I don't care, but you don't really have to have voice actors because everything they do is pantomimed. So that could save a lot of money, but you'd have to have decent CGI animation. So I don't know how much anyone would do with that, but that's my own personal opinion. Anyone have yay or nay about that before we move on to the next topic?
Oh, sounds like a good idea.
All right. Okay, fair enough.
I expected that out of you, sadly.
Well, I mean,
But
it's
I
like
agree.
I couldn't pick just one. It's like I could do just Mario, but at this point,
I was saying that I expected the Smash Brothers out of you. That's the thing.
at this point, I'm kind of tired. At this point, I'm kind of tired of just like Mario's voice acting is annoying to me, and it's just gotten worse over the years. I kind of ignored it because the gameplay was good, but Chris Martinet, hearing his voice makes me want to take a awl and stick it in my ear. Like if I could voluntarily turn off my eardrums while playing a Mario game, or just mute Mario's voices while playing it, that would be great. And Link doesn't really talk. Link doesn't really talk in most of his games, so that's great. Samus doesn't really talk in most of her games, and the one game she did talk, her voice acting was her lines were terrible. So we
At
don't ever need
least
to go
she,
back to that ever again.
at least you know that her voice actor tried to do a good job.
I mean, she does say a few things in the Prime series, like if you get the best ending, Jennifer Hale will read something. But like Jennifer Hale reading her lines is much better than the shit we got in Metroid Other M. In terms of like the gameplay of Metroid Other M is solid. It's just all the other shit around it that kind of hurts that game. But you know, that's my own personal opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yes. Let's moving on. Bungie done goofed.
Yeah, and if anything, if I think about it, we'll be dealing with the ones who let them go later.
Well, so here's what happened because, you know, it's always good to give context. Okay, so here's what happened. Now, before I go any further, this was broken by IGN. Now, normally when we say IGN, we think IGN. IGN has had a terrible reputation for the last few years of their news reporting, but apparently this reporter at IGN has been. She broke a case. Her name was Rebecca Valentine, and she broke the case. She broke the case. Rebecca Valentine broke the
We
case.
got rare, so we got rarity in the land of trash.
So here's what happened. Rebecca Valentine basically went in and did some investigative journalism, which, you know, if you're a journalist, this is like your bread and butter. This is like the heights of being a journalist. So essentially what was going on was Bungie had a very caustic work environment for certain people.
Caustic is a polite word, you know.
So here's the excerpt. I will share it on the using the power of technology. Technology. So
Thank you, cheese.
here's an excerpt of what was going on. Their fears may not be unfounded. In almost every story we heard, sources say that numerous reports were made to HR and leadership about these individuals, but to no avail. HR's seeming unwillingness to help those who complained about toxic team leaders was a recurring theme in interviews. Some felt the reports were ignored entirely, while others told us that they'd been brought into meetings to unexpectedly find the person they'd reported sitting in the room to discuss the issues. Yeah, that's a fuck up right there. In this section, there are specific complaints about one long-standing individual in HR still with the company described as actively protecting harmful individuals, and one making comments about how women were being catty and even describing one as a slut, commenting on the way they dress behind their backs. It is not confirmed if DeHunt is this individual, and or disparaging non-disparagement agreements and fear of reprisal prevented anyone from naming specific individuals for the piece.
What bullshit?
Yeah,
Sorry.
IGN's article does not mention DeHunt's farewell message. It's not mentioned in DeHunt's farewell message, also obtained by IGN, but it's a complicated set of statements to say the least. In it, DeHunt says she is stepping down, just stepping away because the team needs to be largely people new to Bungie. I know that they need to be trusted to be your advocates, not labeled as enablers or seen as company resources who provide bad actors with safe harbor. That is almost verbatim how HR was described in the article. But DeHunt talks about the work she claims she did try to do in her role, including dealing with one of her own abusers. She says she managed to she managed deeply challenging interpersonal conflicts, including firing employees for performance, bad behavior, and for discrimination, racism, and sexual harassment. She even fired her own abuser, a man, an executive, and someone I thought was my friend at Bungie, which resulted in Bungie firing him. Again, as ever, there's no direct confirmation who any of these individuals are, and fans are left to speculate about the long, long list of Bungie higher-ups who have left over the years. DeHunt touches on something I've heard quite a bit in the wake of the Bungie article, that certain employees who were labeled as toxic or abusers in some fashion also say they were abused by someone in the workplace. It is possible to be both a perpetrator and a victim. And I suppose the old you treat people how you're treated adage in some circumstances, albeit that's not an excuse for poor behavior. Given the contents of the original article and even DeHunt's own words, it seems a new direction for HR at Bungie may help current progress toward cleaning up the workplace to expand. Again, I doubt this will be the last major shakeup as a result of the article, even if Bungie has already been doing some work to improve things over the past few years. Okay. So
How much do you want to believe some of that?
Here's what I'm gonna say. I'll let you guys give your takes first. I'll let Jewel go first because she's a woman, a female gamer, and then we'll let Kenosha go, and then I'll give my 2 cents. Go ahead, Jewel.
I'm trying to keep my sass down because, well, we got somebody else to deal with.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna say this. That person needs their golden parachute ripped out from under them and have them crash into a fire pit.
All I'll say is that yeah, even women will throw other women under the bus.
Yeah.
They don't stick together, as you know, as the
Trust me,
very
that trope
as
that women stick together is not always beeping true.
I've seen plenty of times in my life where women will happily throw one of their so-called quote unquote best friends under the bus.
All I'm gonna say about women sticking together is this: as long as women continue to hold each other back, they will stay in the position that they've been and found themselves in for many, many years, on the bottom.
Very funny, Red.
It's a double entendre, get it? As long as you women continue to be split as you are, you'll be exactly where you find yourselves, on the bottom. But in all seriousness, all joking aside, women, I think that you're both right. I think women, in light of Kenoshi, I think that women do need to get organized and stop. Stop. In a lot of cases, I'm not saying that all women are like this, but I'm saying in a lot of cases, like, I mean, go to any, like, people like to say go to high school, go to junior high school, go to any workplace where you see a lot of women. Women, like, if you think men are in the cliques, shit, women wrote the book on cliques and catty behavior.
Yeah, I'm one of those women that were outcasts, as in I kept from joining a group.
I
And
mean,
seeing how some of these people backstab each other, I'm actually glad I didn't.
it's hard. It's hard because women can cut, like, a woman can tear you down worse than a man can. Okay, a woman.
Yeah, I mean, women can tear you down as a man, but have you seen how they tear each other down? Holy crap!
I typically don't. I'm typically not privy to women's private chats, but I mean, women do not stick together on a lot of shit.
I
You'd
grew
be
up
surprised
with
of how different we gals can be.
I grew up with two older sisters, so
you've been behind enemy lines. You've seen it.
Yeah.
I have female cousins, and they are some of the most, like, and like I was
about to say, would you describe them as vultures?
No, because I didn't hang out with my cousins like that. But I was a social butterfly in school. Like, I pretty much could go into any group, because the thing is that I played sports, so I could hang out with the jocks. I was in the jazz ensemble and the blues ensemble at my school, and I played the piano, so I could hang out with the music kids. I got good grades, so I could hang out with the nerds. I was into geeky shit, so I could hang out with the geeks. But that was, that's a rarity. But I also kind of, I also hung out with a lot of the girls too because I'm a dude and I like hanging it. Like if I'm gonna hang,
Yeah,
I'm
you
not,
were
I'm
you
not.
were you were you were a teenage boy, and your hormones were raging.
Well, I mean, I was the only black kid in my school, and I didn't want to get lynched in the South, so I wasn't allowed to
Enough said.
be as free as I wanted. But I still hung out with girls because I'm like, look, I'm a straight man. I don't want to hang out with a whole bunch of dudes. I mean, I've always felt uncomfortable around a whole bunch of dudes. Like even now, I see dudes who are like in a group of dudes and no women. I'm like, y'all are fucking weird. Like, I'd rather be the one dude in a room full of women than a dude with a whole bunch of other dudes.
You haven't
I,
seen
I
D&D groups, have you?
I mean, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. But growing up, being around women a lot, uh, I just got to a point where a lot of women just just fine. No, there are obviously exceptions to the rule, but I just have a hard time being around women. So
Yeah, I did
I
not
I
have
see
that
where
issue.
you're going.
I did not have that issue. Like when I was in high school, I had about 5 or 6 girls who would just follow me around. Like the teachers behind my back, the male teachers would say I had a small harem. And I didn't find that out
Just
until I graduated and went to college. Like I came back one year because I had to get some paperwork, some AP coursework that I did so I wouldn't have to take a certain freshman year. And I'm talking to one of the teachers. Yeah, they said they were talking about you had this harem fall. I'm like, what the fuck are you? I can't believe you would say some shit like that. Um, you know.
it's not even that. It's not even that I don't like women or anything like that, or not attracted to women. It's just uh, conversations and stuff.
No, I
It's
get it. I'm just telling you. Like for me, I always felt more comfortable hanging around a whole bunch of and this wasn't like high school. This was junior high school, elementary school. I just for some reason I always just preferred hanging around girls. Except here's the weird thing:
yeah,
all the girls I hung around with were really friggin' attractive. I never
yeah.
hung out with ugly girls. It
Yeah,
was weird.
you were lucky, I guess. I
No,
guess
no.
they
I think
they were into you.
subconsciously, I just liked hanging around attractive people because I'm
I mean, we
shallow.
all, yeah. I mean, we all like we. I mean, we are. I mean, the human eye is attracted to beautiful things. So, it's just
But
how we're wired,
anyway,
I guess.
but back to the task at hand. Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised that this shit happened. I'm not surprised that Bungie did this. Anytime you see a corporation where, um, like, you don't see a lot of diversity. When you don't see a lot of diversity and you see a lot of the same people around, you get, even if it's not in a negative way, you get a lot of stagnation. And I think that, what people need to understand is that HR, by and large, is not there for the employees. HR is there for the company, for the business. Um, and, I mean, that lady was there for 14 years. She had a good run. And now it's time for someone else new to come in there who's not going to be like, man, I'm going to have to fire my friend. Or, this person has put a lot of input into our product that's made us a lot of money. It's like, yeah, this person slapped this lady's ass and he needs to be fired. Or this lady is being very inappropriate. She needs to go. Because I mean, I remember one time I reported on a boss of mine who, like, her big thing was she would come up to me and say really inappropriate sexual innuendos that were just very, very inappropriate. Because she was my boss. If we were in the same, if she wasn't my boss, it wouldn't have been as awkward. But because she was my boss, it just came across as very, um,
Inappropriate.
very
Professional.
inappropriate, very unprofessional, very inappropriate. And it was just like, okay, I'm very uncomfortable with the shit you're saying. It creeps me out. So I had to report on her ass, and she got disciplined. They moved her away. But you know, tis what it is. Well, anyway, anything else you guys want to say before we move on to the next title? To the next topic.
I'm just trying to hold myself in right now because I know we're gonna have to go at this again very soon.
Yeah, we will. You know, bullshit is like a never-ending cycle. There's always some more bullshit to be.
Yeah, but I was hoping that we only have one to talk about, not two.
Well, this one is for people who slap down their $70 to get a port of Final Fantasy VII reintegration, whatever the fuck it's called. So what do you think? What did you guys think your $70 would get you?
Hopefully, extra features
A bag
or
of
a new game
peanuts.
plus.
Oh, what you hope it gets you? I was hoping for the for everything in the kit, for everything in the kitchen sink, but what does it actually get you?
Okay, that's a good question. Well, here's what your $70 gets you: a piss poor PC port of Final Fantasy VII, a piss poor PC port that has a shocking lack of customization options for $70. You get, here's what you get, okay? You get you can choose the FPS, but there's no variable FPS setting. You can't turn on or turn off anti-aliasing. You can't turn on or turn off VSync. You can't turn off motion blur. You can't control resolution scaling or dynamic scaling.
What can use control?
This port would have been considered bullshit 5 years ago. It would have been considered bullshit 10 years ago. It would have been considered okay 15 years ago, but now it's like, this is some bullshit. But hey, you're paying $70 for it. The new premium price for gaming.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And here's
That's
the thing.
crazy. You can't even turn on and off basic shit.
Yeah. And here's the thing. You get even more. You get more choices for here's how you know this was some bullshit. You get far more options in Kingdom Hearts 3, a game that was just released on PC this year.
Oh, that's crazy.
So basically, they charge you $70 and they can't even give you basic shit. You know. And it also runs poorly on PC. There's like stuttering, and it's just it's like, if you're gonna charge people $70, you need to make extra care that what you're giving them is of a certain quality. And they couldn't even do that.
Nope. Too much to ask for.
You know, for $70, you would think for $70, hey, maybe we should have more graphical options. Nah. Fuck that. So, what are your guys' thoughts on this? embarrassing bullshit. It's not as bad as Final as the trash ass GTA Definitive Trilogy, but
This reminds me of other Final Fantasies that came to PC and were how can I put it politely? Total utter garbage fire in the dumpster. Is that polite enough?
uh, I mean, I mean, let me put it this way: if this game, like, if this PC port was $50 or even 40, I would say, okay, they aren't charging full price for it. The fact that they're charging $70 for it, and
That's an extra layer of BS.
that's an extra level of bullshit, you know. And
Yeah.
this it's sad. It's sad. This is embarrassing. you know, I was on PC Gamer and they were like, is $70 too much? I was like, if this was Squaresoft releasing this game, I would say $70 wouldn't be too much. But Square Enix has been shit ever since it came into existence.
Yeah.
Square
And
Enix is the JRPG seal of this is going to be some trash. Don't hold your breath.
Yeah. I'd rather trust Atlas or Level 5 with RPGs than Square Enix right now.
At least level 5 you'll have a certain level of quality. I mean, because you don't get. I mean, this is embarrassing. It's sad and embarrassing.
Yeah, I mean, you're a big multi-million dollar publisher. You should do better than this.
On their flagship game, the game that made Squaresoft what it is, and you couldn't even fucking. And you're charging people $70 for the shit, which is even worse.
Yeah.
So, y'all done fucked up yet again. Square Enix continuing to be an embarrassing piece of shit.
Yeah.
I remember when I heard that Squaresoft and Enix were merging, I was like, surely two of the best RPG houses coming together means that we're going to get some great RPGs. Man, if I could go back in time and slap the shit out of myself then, saying some shit like that.
I'll say this myself. I was only aware of Squaresoft, and I wasn't sure of what Enix could offer, and was actually curious about it.
Yeah, well, Enix
I didn't get my hopes up.
Well, the sad thing is that the quality of Enix's Dragon Quest games have gone down, but not nearly at the same rate of Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy has been shit for years. Like Final Fantasy 11 isn't a great game. It's not as good as 10. Well, I've never played 10. It's not as good as 9 or 8, but it's still not terrible. Final Fantasy 13 is hot buttered ass. It's
agreeable,
sweaty.
No matter what language.
Take a fat guy who has questionable bathing habits, put him in really hot, tight, with a drawstring, sweatpants with no breathability, and make him run a mile. And then take those pants and wring out the sweat and make someone drink it. And that's what that's what Final Fantasy has become under Square Enix.
Yeah, and whoever says 15 is a return to form, I question your taste.
Well, if it's a return to form, I want to know what the fuck were you playing beforehand. Anyway, Final Fantasy has been like the rate. Like I would say, like okay, if Dragon Quest 8 and 9, like I would say Dragon Quest 8 is one of the best Dragon Quests ever made, of a modern age. It's really damn good. Dragon Quest 9 isn't quite as good as 8 because 8 was a tailored story. 9 is more like there's a story, but because you have individual characters and shit like that, it's got to be more streamlined. Like, yeah, the story has to be more open, but still, it's a really good game, and the story that is there is actually really good. Final Fantasy X, I mean, Dragon Quest X, never played it because they never localized it because it was a fucking MMO instead of being a proper single player game. Dragon Quest XI, I played it, and it's just not great. Like, they were
it's not as big, but it's not terrible.
I mean, it's like they were trying to go for something that had the same feel as Dragon Quest VIII, but it's really hard to
catch that moment in a bottle.
Yeah, Dragon Quest VIII story is so good, and the twist in it is so good that it's really hard. Like, you can't capture that again. They would have done better doing something completely different. And they try to tie Dragon Quest XI in with all the other Dragon Quest games, and I'm just like, Dragon Quest XI is not that good to be tied into all the other Dragon Quest games. But 'tis what it is.
Wasn't there a topic linking to Final Fantasy VII trash?
Well, there's a thing that says we were gonna, for a brief moment, we were gonna talk about Triangle Strategy finally releasing some
gameplay.
Well, it was like a little character bio thing that showed a little gameplay, but I'm not really. I'll wait for that game to hit PC. I'm not like in a hurry to get it on the Switch.
I was about to say, wait until you see more details before you make a judgment.
No, I plan on getting it. I'm just gonna wait until it hits PC, like Octopath Traveler hit PC, or Bravely Default 2 hit PC. I'll just wait.
So is it not very good? Is that what happened? You
no,
side there.
No. Well, the thing is that it's gonna be like the game. Basically, if you want to understand the general gameplay concept behind Triangle Strategy, take Final Fantasy Tactics and then take Tactics Ogre, which is the unofficial sequel to Ogre Battle on the SNES that was never localized here in America until the Game Boy Advance got a port of it. And I mean, like, those games are really grindy and really hard, and I don't want to play a really grindy game where I'm going to be dying and saving and rebooting battles so that I get the best outcome. It's much easier to do that on PC. So
I was going to make the joke that you don't want a Fire Emblem.
No, I don't like. When it comes to Fire Emblem, I like the original Fire Emblems where death is permanent. So you really have to think about the choices you make before a battle and which units you bring in, which units you don't bring in, because when you lose a unit, it's dead forever. I actually like that with Fire Emblem.
I was going to say that with Fire Emblem right now, you have the chance of choosing between permadeath or no permadeath.
Yeah, I don't like Fire Emblem as it is right now because it's a little too casual for my taste. Like, it's weird because, like, when I'm talking like Final Fantasy Tactics style battles, I don't like hardcore like that. But for Fire Emblem, because like I'm used to Fire Emblem being like that, that's how I like it. So it's a weird dichotomy. But anyway, let's keep it moving. I think we've kicked Square Enix in the nuts enough. Now it's time to sharpen up our nut-kicking boots to kick another company in the nuts. Activision Blizzard. Once again.
I'm sorry, but seriously, these guys need to find a mute button for 5 days.
They can't.
But no.
They can't.
You can't.
Look,
what did
listen.
they do this time?
When you're a terrible company, when you're a piece of shit human being, you can't stop. Like, when someone's a human piece of shit, they can't stop not being a human piece of shit because they're part of their nature. It's like that old African proverb where the scorpion and the frog were sitting next to the river, and the scorpion's like, "Hey, I can't swim." And the frog's like, "Well, I'm going to go across the river. Oh, can you give me a ride? I'm not going to give you a ride because if I give you a ride, you're going to sting me and we'll both die." And the scorpion's like, "No, I'm not going to sting you." And the frog's like, "Yeah, you are." He's like, "No, really, I swear I'm not." And the frog's like, okay, fine, then get on board. And he starts going across the river. Makes it a third of the way across the river. The scorpion starts twitching. Frog's like, look, you're going to sting me. He's like, no, I'm just getting comfortable. Frog makes it halfway across the river. The scorpion starts moving again. Frog's like, look, man, I know you're about to sting me. He's like, no, I'm just getting, I had a cramp in my leg. Frog
And
makes
he
it.
stings him at the 2/3 mark.
Frog
didn't he?
makes it 2/3 of the way across the river. The scorpion stings him. The frog's going underwater. Frog's like, why did you sting me? Now we're both gonna die. The scorpion's like, I couldn't help it. It's my nature. Look, Activision Blizzard can't help being a piece of shit. It's its nature. It can't help it. It's like asking a crackhead, hey, why'd you steal my shit and sell it for crack? It's what I do.
The thing is that they already are in hot water. They lost half of their stock revenue.
They can't stop it. It's their nature. But anyway, speaking of Activision Blizzard being trash, so basically last week we talked
What
about
did they do this time?
we talked about Activision Blizzard literally stealing the food out of babies' mouths. Literally, some fucker was going into the women's nursing station so that nursing mothers can go and empty their mammary glands and have the leftover milk for their children to take home to their babies. Someone was going to there and stealing the breast milk. They literally was stealing food from babies' mouths.
Yeah.
By definition.
I'm trying to say, what else can they do?
Well, this is also equally as bad in my opinion because they're still fucking. So, I mean, if people who say, oh, we don't need a union in gaming for developers. I mean, after seeing the shit with Ubisoft and Activision Blizzard and EA and Bungie, do we still believe that these fuckers don't need to be able to unionize? Are we still under that naive illusion or belief?
I just realized something, Red. Please tell me they did not try to do the "don't do this or else" tactic.
Yes, they did. So basically, the workers at Activision Blizzard are desperately trying to organize so that they can unionize. And after seeing the fucked up shit that's been going on at Activision Blizzard, I'm not saying that every worker needs a union, but if there ever was a set of workers that need to unionize, it's those poor bastards over there at Activision Blizzard.
Yes.
They need it.
I'm trying to not facepalm because of all the things that happen, I can already imagine what's going on. That while they're trying to make a union or they're doing protests and then thinking about unionizing, their bosses come over and try to politely, quote unquote, explain how unions work and say that we here at Activision Blizzard care for our company, care for our employees, and will do all we can to help service you, where the unions would only think of themselves.
Well, here's where things get kind of weird. They're doing what we always see from these large corporations: union busting. Union busting.
Oh, yeah.
They're threatening the employees. Now, like I said, if there ever were a group of employees that need a union, it's these poor bastards. Okay, because with the shit that's been going on with the cubicle club, with the cubicle crawls, where these fucking loser ass nerds are ducking under cubicles and looking up women's dresses, to the Cosby Room, to some poor woman killing herself because some fucker was coercing her into taking naked photos of herself and using sex toys on herself that were connected to a Wi-Fi so that the fucker could turn it off and turn it off at will.
Even the more subtle things like payment equality.
Yeah, female employees being paid less than their male counterparts and having those male counterparts foist their work off onto them while they went off and played Call of Duty. Yeah, I mean, if there ever were a group of people that need a union, these poor bastards need it. They need someone at the table because let me let you on a little secret, Activision Blizzard board members and executive people. If you don't have people making these fucking games, you don't make money. Okay?
Makes me wonder.
So why won't you
Makes
pay
me
these
wonder
people
where
a
they.
fair fucking wage and keep them happy and have a work environment that is conducive to them, you know, putting out good work so then you can make money?
Yeah, I was about to say, what the heck is going on in your heads? I mean, if anything, I know a few people that wouldn't want unions. Kodak
Oh yeah.
and the
Oh yeah.
and the
Well, he
higher up.
hired a union busting law firm to keep them from to keep the employees from unionizing. A union busting law
Hold
firm.
on. If I remember right, ain't that the same group that worked with unsavory suspects?
Well, they worked with families who bought relics that the Nazis stole from Jews during World War II. That the family sued to get back, and this law firm worked with those people to keep them to help them keep them from having to give back shit that their families bought from Nazis. Or in some cases, these families were Nazis that their families managed to escape prosecution and they just kept this shit that their relatives stole from Jews. But hey,
That's the reason why I
Bobby
said
Kotick, he's a great
unsavory
guy.
people.
You would think with all that fucking money Bobby Kotick has, he could get better hair plugs. But 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 that's neither here nor there. So yeah, Activision Blizzard trying to union bust these poor people who desperately need, like, literally along every step of the way. Like, when Activision Blizzard could have made a right and changed the course of how badly this situation can go, they keep on making lefts and making it worse. They keep on making it worse. Like the first thing they should have done is start a firing spree and firing people who were in positions of authority who enabled this behavior from the top down, and
I was
then
about to say, Bobby Kodak especially.
immediately start having pay parity between the male and female employees who are who meet the requirements. And then after that, put serious measures in place to prevent this shit from happening again. But every time they could have made it right and made shit better, they make a left and make it worse. And it's amazing to see this train wreck. But
Train wreck. I call it a rolling disaster.
Well, it is a train wreck, but imagine, a train wreck normally happens once. This is a train wreck where the train keeps on smashing into a canyon wall, but then somehow it like the engine still has enough juice to go in reverse, back up 10 miles, and then smash into the train into the same rock wall again.
I was going to call it a pileup of a disaster.
It's the same train wreck over and over again.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's a multi-car pileup that keeps on growing and growing and growing.
It's like, and for some reason, like, there's every car that's in the pileup is the same corporation. Like, the same people work at the same corporations. Like, there's a turnoff right here. We can avoid this pileup. No, I can make it. Like, that's literally what's going on here. It's like, dude, just turn on the turnoff and we can go a different way. No. It's like, come on, man. Just really, the turnoff, just make a right. We can hit an alternate route and go a different way. No. We're gonna keep on going.
Yeah.
So speaking of companies,
and this is the reason why I was saving my fury, because this is happening.
So speaking of companies, as we did earlier, charging you exorbitant prices for some bullshit, Nintendo's online editions for December were kind of underwhelming.
I was going to say, that was a weak intro there.
I was weak.
Well, I could have said. Speaking of companies that are full of shit and don't appear to be changing, but it's change. It's just really glacial and slow. So here are the games that you have for your $50 that you put down for your premium Nintendo online purchase. Service. You get Altered Beast, Toe Jam and Earl, Dynamite Heady, Sword of Vermilion, and Thunder Force 2. Now,
I was gonna say 2 out of 5. Not bad.
I would say 1 out of 5. And here's the why I'm going to say 1 out of 5, okay? Here's why I'm going to say 1 out of 5, okay? In terms of
Toe
rating.
Jam and Earl.
What?
I guess Toe Jam and Earl.
No. I've never liked Toe Jam and Earl. I like the concept of Toe Jam and Earl, but I don't like the games. They're kind of like to me. So Toe Jam and Earl. For those of you who don't, let's share the dream here. Toe Jam and Earl. Here, let me display. Toe Jam and Earl. Altered Beast is trash. Altered Beast, the arcade version of Altered Beast is trash, and the home console version of Altered Beast is just a trash ass game. But anyway, the only good thing about Altered Beast is the voice sample at the beginning where your character comes out and says, "Rise from your grave." That's about it. Toe Jam and Earl is a cult classic action game that you probably just have to play to wrap your head around. It's weird, and I never thought it was very well designed, but a lot of people like it. Knock yourself out. Dynamite Heady. Now, I will admit, Dynamite Heady is awesome, but it's a treasure game, and Treasure doesn't really make trash games. Sword of Vermilion is a unique role-playing game from Sega that uses different gameplay perspectives for different things, and it was well-received in its era. I'm going to tell you right now, it was for the Sega Genesis. Almost every RPG on the Sega Genesis was trash compared to what we had on the SNES. So, Sword of Vermilion, I've played it. It's okay, but I mean, there's better RPGs on the Sega Genesis. Thunder Force 2. It's a space shooter from Technosoft. Now, here's the problem. Of these 5 games, only Thunder Force 2 is unavailable it's unavailable on the Sega Genesis Classics collection that you can buy on your Nintendo Switch.
Wow.
So only one game is exclusive to the online service.
That's unfortunate.
So, I mean, and here's the thing: I have the Sega Genesis collection on PC where I can add other Sega games to it. So I have like 150 Sega Genesis games that I paid like $3.99 for the whole thing on PC. So why the fuck would I pay $50 for this shit? That's the problem. So it's underwhelming. Underwhelming for what you're paying for. But that's my own personal opinion. Your guys' thoughts on those selection of games? Yay, nay, agree, disagree? Worth it, not worth it?
I say it's an improvement.
Okay.
It's not a big improvement, but an improvement at least.
All right. Kenoshi?
Those games just look lame to me. The games they showed.
I mean,
I was not impressed.
I would say aside from Dynamite Heady because it's a treasure game, and almost all the treasure games are good. I've never played a bad treasure game. But
if you're wondering, I played 3 out of 5 of those games.
But I mean, the rest of them are just like underwhelming. And definitely not worth the $50, the $30 upcharge from $20 a year. So, yeah. A wet fart right there. A wet fart in white underwear. So anyway, that's my take. So now we get to a-hole of the week and wrap things up. So we didn't get to any of the extra stories, but they weren't really worth it. Oh, okay. Here's one extra story you guys might want to talk about. Yuji Naka made a mobile game all by himself, and he's asking people to play for it. I mean, to play it. And it's called Shot 2048. So, you know, I'm rooting for Yuji Naka because I want the man to succeed. You know?
Yeah.
That's it. You know, I know
What's the
Belated
game
Underworld
about?
sucked, but I don't know. But I just want Yuji Naka to succeed. You know what I'm saying?
To be honest with you, I have to see his work, as in what he put out. I mean, what he made so far to at least know if it's disappointing or not.
So you are aware that Yuji Naka made Sonic the Hedgehog, right?
I mean, of his current project.
Well, it's Shot 2048. It's a dice rolling game.
Oh boy. Yeah, I gotta look at it to at least see if I want to play it, because I'm actually curious now.
He made it all by himself.
I know. That's what makes it even more interesting.
It's just Yuji Naka. Like, here's the thing, okay? I think Yuji Naka is an overrated developer, but I just really want to see him succeed. You know what I mean? It's like, I really want you to do well, dude. I want you to do well. I want you to succeed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, because I mean, Square Enix did him dirty.
Yeah.
They did that dude dirty with
yeah.
Balin Underworld.
Don't you mean Balin Wonderland?
No, I call it Balin Underworld. Because that's what it was. Because, I mean, like, here's the thing. I saw a in-depth review of Balin Wonderland, and it turns out that the game has like a short has a novel that explains the entire game. And I'm like, then why didn't you make the entire game based on the novel, and then get that done, and then do a sequel that is what Balin Wonderland is? Because the novel is actually pretty good, apparently, or at least gives more of a like what's going on. Because
more context.
Yeah, most of the people that I know who played Balin Wonderland, who, I mean, let's keep it real, Wonderworld or whatever. Most of the people that I know who played it were like, it's really simplistic, and I have no idea what the fuck's going on.
Actually, it's too simplistic.
Yeah, it's overly simplistic, and they have no idea what's going on. Like, shit happens in the game, and people are like, "Why'd that happen? Why'd this character do this? What's going on? Why is this? Why am I having a fight with this character? Who is like?" It's just a lot of what the fuck's going on. So, tis what it is. But my point is this. I want to see Yuji Naka succeed. Even if I don't I think he's overrated, I want to see him succeed. Because there are fans of Yuji Naka. And I don't want them, I don't want to see people's heroes fail, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I'm just having this feeling that it's something to watch, though. Hopefully, it will not do a crash. That's all I'm hoping for.
It's free to play with ads. There's nothing really, just like a time waster. I just want to see Yuji Naka succeed. Because he did make Billy Hatcher, which was a fucking awesome game. So, that's the one Yuji Naka game I really enjoyed. So with that being said, it's time to nominate our A-hole of the week. The nominees are...
I'm going to say two of them right now.
Well, the nominees for...
Bungie and Activision Blizzard.
The nominees for Asshole of the Week are Square Enix for charging people $70 for a game that's a kind of a basic bitch port of Final Fantasy VII. Activision Blizzard for trying to union bust people who, having seen the shit that's come out about Activision Blizzard, if there ever was a company that needed unionized workforce, it's those poor bastards. And Bungie, for basically having 14 years of just a toxic work environment and enabling the people who were doing this shit. And honorable mention, Nintendo for charging people $50 for a really, really shoddy online gaming experience in terms of their online libraries for
Really?
all of them, actually. All of the online libraries are trash. So that's 4 choices. Who's going to be the asshole of the week?
I'm gonna go with Nintendo because Nintendo should know better. But obviously,
Really?
obviously,
Yeah,
because you know they already Activision Blizzard already won
Asshole of the Year.
So,
yeah, we're getting close to nominating Asshole of the Year. So, I mean, I guess we could take them out the running because they're going to be Asshole of the Year. So, so Activision Blizzard, you're lucky. Well, unlucky because you're Asshole of the Year. So no matter who gets Asshole of the Week this week, you're Asshole of the Year. I mean, we could say Nintendo because Nintendo does know better because the same issues that they're having now, they fixed. Like, they fixed something that wasn't broken.
Really?
Because, you know, they had a good online system with their games on the Wii and the Wii U. And then they took 1 step forward and 5 steps back with the Switch in terms of their online game menagerie. But I mean, you know, that's just Nintendo being Nintendo. Nintendo does that all the time. Not all the time, but like every 2 or 3 gens, they take 1 step forward and 2 steps back. So that's not really like that's Nintendo being Nintendo. Whether you like it or not. You know, I'm a Nintendo fan, but even I recognize sometimes they do some shit where I'm like, why'd you do that? You didn't need to do that. Why? So it's between Final Fantasy VII and Bungie. I mean, it's between Square Enix and Bungie.
Bungie.
I want to say Square Enix, but I'm gonna have to go Bungie too because Bungie's been doing this shit for 14 years that we know of. It's probably been going on longer, but 14 years. I mean, literally, if you had a person that was born 14 years ago, they would be a teenager right now with a funky, badass attitude. That's how long they've been doing this shit.
Wow.
So, I was 21 14 years ago. So yeah, like about to graduate college. So yeah, Bungie. You know, I would have given it to Square Enix, but I mean, the way as shitty as Square Enix has been over the last decade or so, not really surprised that they would do a piss poor port of Final Fantasy VII to PC. You know, I'm like Edgar from Men in Black, where before he gets eaten by the bug, like he's like the only thing around here that works is my goddamn truck, and Edgar and the bug's UFO smashes and he goes outside. He's like, figures. Like that's how it feels about Square Enix. Like, figures, they're gonna be fucked up. Yeah, but Bungie's been an industry darling for a while, so to find out all this naughtiness that's been going on in the background is just not really surprising, but
I was about to say, it's the kind of level that you see of Ubisoft, right?
I mean, it's not Ubisoft level. I mean, we didn't hear about saying a woman dresses slutty is bad, but Ubisoft had people saying, "Hey, this woman annoys me. I want to bend her over the table and sodomize her until her mind opens up." That's a little bit worse than slutty. You know, drugging people with magic brownies without their knowledge, because there's some people who are allergic to pot and will die if they smoke it or smell it. So they could have killed somebody. Yeah, it is a drug. Just like caffeine's a drug, alcohol's a drug, cigarettes are a drug, sugar in some cases is a drug. All these things can, if you don't tell someone, like, that's just fucked up. Ubisoft, like, here's the thing. Ubisoft and Activision Blizzard are probably doing the same shit right now. But Ubisoft managed to shut their employees down so that they can't tell people how fucked up Ubisoft still is. Like the Ubisoft execs, we're really happy at the way things are going. Then why aren't any of the employees talking about how good things are going? Because the employees are being fucking muzzled. Because you can't change a company like that, because as long as the people at the top are still there, Yves Guillemot is still the owner of the company. He's still the CEO. He still holds a vast majority of the stock that the company holds. They're going to keep on doing whatever the fuck they want. There's a real chance that Bobby Kotick can get pushed out. There's no chance that Yves Guillemot is going to get pushed out. So Ubisoft is still going to be this cesspool of bullshit that it's always been. So yeah, Bungie, asshole of the week. Anything else you guys want to add before we wrap things up? We've got 4 minutes. Dun 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 dun. We've got 4 minutes to save the world.
I got at least one thing to ask.
Go ahead.
Christmas episode, or are we skipping it until the new year?
Do you guys want to do a Christmas episode?
Nah, I'm gonna be tired that day.
Okay, then we will not do a Christmas episode. We'll do are you guys cool for a New Year's episode?
Yeah, we can do that. It's
okay,
fine.
then. So no Christmas episode, but we do have a New Year's episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if anything, we're not staying past midnight. After all, some of us have our own celebrations for it.
No. There's no midnight show. It's going to be like a normal show. It's just going to be on New Year's.
Yeah, I actually gotta work New Year's Day, so I couldn't do it if you guys did it at midnight.
There's no midnight shows on this channel. We don't do midnight shows because that is, you guys got to work, and I'm not staying up that late. If this was a bigger channel and I was making money off of it, yes. I'm not getting paid out of it, then it's not worth doing that long. That's insane. That's insanity. So that's the end of the podcast. Anything you guys want to pimp out before we wrap things up?
At least we got that covered. What about you boys?
I bought the Messenger for PC, and the game's still difficult, but I had it for the Switch, but it's just a lot easier than I remember it the first time I played it on the Switch. But it's a pretty good game.
It is pretty good. I like it.
Yeah.
I got it on I got it on Steam and the PC. I mean, I got it on Steam and Epic. I got it for free on Epic though. So I got it for free. I'm like, yeah, and I spent like $3.99 on the DLC.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, okay, sure, why not? Yeah, I like the Messenger. I think in terms of like Ninja Gaiden-esque platformers, I think the Messenger is a little bit better than Cyber Shadow.
Yeah.
Cyber Shadow is good, but Cyber Shadow is just a little too hard.
Oh, it's kind of too ridiculous about.
Well, I mean, in the beginning, the Messenger and Cyber Shadow share a lot of DNA in that until you unlock your abilities and your mobility abilities that let you get around the game world quickly and efficiently, the game is hard. Once you unlock your abilities and you like master the movement system, the game gets really easy.
That's same. I unlocked a lot of stuff because the Messenger doles out a lot of currency to you. Especially if you're willing to
grind certain areas.
Grind certain areas and take certain risks for the secret areas to get more of the gems or the currency. And you can basically unlock certain things that kind of breaks the game, like to be able to block any projectile or even bounce off any projectile.
Yeah.
especially the like stalactites. You can just hit those, and those are hardly a problem. So
Yeah, I like it. I'm
yeah,
like, yeah, this is. I like how those games let you break them. Cyber Shadow has a similar thing where that type of thing goes on, where it's like, yeah, I'm breaking this game. I'm breaking it. I like it though.
yeah,
I like breaking it.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, the Messenger is pretty damn good. Maybe not perfect, but it's pretty damn good.
Yeah, and that's the reason I wanted to play
Story.
through it again is because I mean, we're still a long way from Sea of Stars coming out, but since it's a prequel to Messenger, kind of know
Yeah, but I mean,
what the
it's a
pre.
prequel to the area to the Sun and Moon Temple. Like that's the like it's not like a prequel in the traditional term of a prequel.
Oh, okay.
I have this fantasy.
But that game, the Sea of Stars looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's the Chrono Trigger sequel we always wanted, but Square Enix didn't have the balls to make.
I mean, the same composer is doing the music. The same composer, Chrono
Yatsuna
Trigger, is doing the
Masuda.
music. Yeah.
Yoshida Matsuda. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, look. I mean, really, I think he did his best work on Chrono Trigger because I've heard his other shit, and I'm just like, it's good. It's not Chrono Trigger good though.
Yeah.
But anyway, anything you want to pimp out, Joel?
I think I could say thank you for watching the BS Special Zonaway podcast. Don't forget you can catch us with message. You can catch us by email. You can catch us by Twitter. You can catch us by Discord, and we'll be back next week. Though only for one round.
That's right. We only have only one podcast on this channel. I don't know if Kenoshi's going to have something Tuesday on his channel, but the only one podcast next week. That's Wednesday's cast, and no Saturday cast because it's Christmas and shit. People want to have a vacation.
Yeah, I might actually come to think about it. I'll take a break this week, but next week do a cast.
All right. Okay.
That's probably what I'll end up doing.
Okay then. So I mean, aside from myself, everyone else is going to be off next week. So this upcoming week. So peace. Good night. Hype responsibly, and well, peace.
Happy holidays.
Yep. Happy
Happy
holidays.
holidays.
Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Although Hanukkah was earlier this month. Whatever. Season's greetings.